So, here I am, back again, making another video. And this topic is going to be on the 5 red flags that I ignored in my relationship. Which, if you listen to the last 2, could tell that that one did not end well at all. Quite horribly. But we're here, we're surviving, we're getting better, rebuilding. But to not waste any more time, I'll get started. The first flag I ignored was fast-paced intimacy. It felt like a whirlwind of love and passion, and it was so cliched, like all the rom-coms or romance movies that you have heard of, and if you've watched, then yeah, we got married super fast, like under a year. In the beginning, we were a COVID couple and we got locked down together, and that was when we just started dating. But living together with someone you just started dating for like 2 to 3 months, it honestly felt like you're already on a honeymoon in a way. Because at that point, you know, in the beginning of relationships, it's like the puppy love, rose tinted glasses on, so everything just looks wonderful and feels wonderful, and the passion, the drive, you guys can't keep hands off of each other. And it was like we lived in the bubble for those 2 to 3 months. And I think at the end of the 4 months, we were engaged, which a lot of people said, but I ignored because I was caught up in it all, was too fast. You barely just met this person. You don't really know them. You just know that you feel good when you're with them, and that you feel good and you make them feel good. And that's true. You really need to take your time with knowing someone, because whether it was intentional or not, I got love bombed by her, just spoiling the hell out of me. As someone who wasn't in a relationship for 10 years before that, oh yeah, I thought I was in heaven. And then we can go into a whole nother video about things about yourself before you should even commit to something serious or look for a relationship. But yeah, fast-paced intimacy should be a red flag. Getting together so fast, getting physical, well, from my perspective now, just getting physical way too fast. All those hormones going off, bonding you guys without even really knowing what kind of person truly they are. The next one would be extreme highs and lows for my second red flag. It was never in between. It always felt like it was like the heat of the moment, the peak, the climax, and then we stay there, but then after that, it's just a low, just a straight low of depression or anxiety for her. Just no stability. There was never just a middle calm, like a norm. Always here or here. And that's not what you want in a relationship. You want some stability. Of course, there's going to be highs and lows. But if you're always just jumping from top to bottom with nothing here, then it's literally going to be a roller coaster that you can't get off of. And now, roller coasters are fun, objectively, right? You go to a theme park, you get on it for like 3 minutes. Oh, it's scary here, then it's fun here, then scary here, then fun here, then you're off. And then you're back to normal. And okay, that's how it should be. There's stability. But just imagine a roller coaster you can never get off of. It's always either you're screaming, wanting to get off, or you're at the top of the world and everything's great. The next one, stretching. The next one would be blaming others, never herself. She didn't take any accountability for any of her actions that she did. And it was always easier to throw the blame on someone else than be the victim. Because right now, from my point of view, like, people who victimize themselves, they get attention and support and sympathy, and it's honestly the easier way out if you think you're the victim, because it's, it's not your fault. You don't have to change. It's everything else that has to change, because you're just a victim, an innocent one caught in the crossfire of the world. And you know what? Sometimes that is the case. But here's the big but. If you're always the victim, you're just making yourself the victim. Because you can't go through life just living like you're the victim. It's demeaning and takes power away from you. But also, it takes away your responsibility. Because, like, in my relationship, always the victim, then she never had to apologize for when she did the wrong things. Like, her affair, I cheated because I felt like I wasn't being cared about enough, and I was driven away into the arms of another man. Or I just needed to buy that because, I had a really rough day, needed to treat myself. And it's just an excuse. The fourth flag would be emotional manipulation, weaponizing personal things that I shared with her and using them against me later, either as some kind of bargaining chip or blackmail. And, you can't really have that in any kind of relationship, because at that point, you don't feel safe to share anything with this person. At first in the relationship, it wasn't blatant and obvious. But as it progressed on and she knew that, I was locked into the relationship and that I would have a really hard time leaving, especially since we were already married, and then she was, all right, here. This is part of the fast-paced intimacy. She was already pregnant. She was pregnant after we got married, just to be clear. But locked in, so she knew that I wasn't going anywhere, and she could say and do whatever she wanted. And she knew I was going to be there for her, to try to be a good husband. But when you feel like you're getting walked all over all the time and you don't feel safe sharing anything, that should be an instant red flag. I pray to God that none of you ever get there. But if you have, I'm sorry. I feel your pain. I know exactly what that's like. And finally, the last red flag that I would want to share is extremely important, and I think if you follow this one, the rest of them shouldn't ever have to happen in the first place. And that's keeping your boundaries. But the red flag is that she doesn't respect your boundaries and crosses them. Now, if you're confident and believe in yourself, you'll have some boundaries. And that should be something that everyone has. Like, there's some things you allow and some things you don't allow. Like, personally for me, one of my boundaries is, we stay loyal to each other and we're committed in a monogamous relationship. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. But, that was a boundary that she didn't respect of mine. I thought it was a pretty clear-cut boundary, not asking too much. I mean, we were married. It's part of the oath. But you know what? I was a different man back then. I was weak. I really didn't have a boundary. I would say I did, but boundaries are only boundaries if you reinforce them or if you believe and enforce them. And then when she saw that I wasn't opposed to her, like, so this is my experience. So she wasn't, or I wasn't opposed when she would say, oh, I'm gonna go out with my girls and go to the club and whatever, and then, yeah, I'm gonna dress like this, you know, like the way a girl would dress when they're trying to pull a guy. But the difference is, she's already married, she's got me. And, you know, I didn't want to feel like I was controlling or being that guy and saying, no, don't wear that out, you can't wear that, like, that's too much, or I'm not with you, so why are you dressing like that? Let me tell you guys, don't let people tell you otherwise. It is not controlling when you have a boundary that you don't want crossed and discussed. Now, this would be different if you just say you're never going to dress like that, or I'm trying to think of another example. Or you can't leave the house without me, or da-da-da. Yeah, no, that's different, that's different. But just the boundary of, oh, please don't dress like that, you know, when you go out with your girls. And then it's from the concern of, because I know guys are going to see you and they're going to try to do something with you or make moves on you, and I don't want to put you in that kind of position, or I'd rather avoid that situation altogether. Also, respectfully for me, like, you should be dressing like that when you're with me, because my attention should be the most important, not other men, right? And yes, if you have established boundaries and you stick to them, that's the very important part. You can't just talk it, you gotta keep it. You gotta walk the walk. Then the rest of these red flags shouldn't even pop or cross the line or pop up in your radar in a relationship. Because then at that time you would know either she's gonna respect your boundaries, or that's it, relationship's done. And you move on and you learn. But yeah, those are some of the red flags that I've encountered in my relationship that I wish I saw earlier before we dragged it out and now we're here. But if you guys got something out of this, you know, let me know, share. I like hearing stories of other people experiences with stuff and how I've gone through it, and we can have a back and forth, or if it helped you out, I'm really happy. So I'll see you guys in the next one.